Hey guys, I'm Lonnie.
And I'm Lisa.
And this is
A Whole Mom.
A Whole Mom is dedicated to those of us who are dealing with the everyday struggles of adulting while also being a whole mom out here.
Ooh.
So today is International Women's Day.
By the time we drop this, it would have been yesterday, but we living in the now, so.
It is what it is. Shout out to you. Shout out to us. Let's celebrate one another. But today, do we want to check in a little bit, or
we'll check in a little? It's up to you.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
How's your week going?
It
just started.
Facts. It just started, but it's okay. My kids got to fighting today, so that was interesting. And I had to give them a huge lecture. Okay. But outside of that, things are looking good.
Great.
Yeah. How about you?
I'm doing okay.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
Kind of meh, but I'm doing okay.
You're making it.
You know, right now, one of my biggest issues is dealing with this whole football thing, VHSL, not being able to go to certain games because I'm that mom that likes to be in the stands yelling. So it's a downer, but we're adjusting. So,
okay.
Other than that, still working on getting my shit together.
And this school thing is stressing me out so bad. Like, and I know people who have been like, oh, I'm just going to actually just homeschool my kids. Like, I've learned from this experience and I want to homeschool my kids. And that's not my ministry. So.
I will not.
Yeah.
I cannot.
I'm going to just defer to the good old public school system.
Yeah. Like, we're in the process right now, so my kids are older, so they are... my high schooler has already selected his classes, and now my middle schooler, we just got like recommendations today as far as what the teachers are recommending, and then he'll get to pick his electives and everything. So
yeah, they sent our schedules last week. It is what it is, but yeah, shout out to people that can do it. I cannot.
No.
Anyway, with all that being said, Oprah snatched our edges yesterday with her interview with the Duke and Duchess, or no longer the Duke and Duchess?
No longer the Duke and Duchess.
Yeah,
Meghan
Harry
Markle.
and Meg. Meg and Harry.
Meghan Harry.
Meghan Harry.
That's
period.
Him. Yeah. Period.
Meg and Harry and them. So let's get into it, friend. Yeah. Now, mind you, I had like an hour before you got here, a friend sent me a video, or not a video, like an audio thing, a text, and she was like, a whole mom needs to tear the royal family a new one and read them for filth. So this is for you. Okay. No. So most surprising / moment that kind of stood out to you from the whole thing, because we talked a little bit and
we've been talking.
Nothing was really super shocking, but surprising, shocking, or moment that stood out to you in the interview. Meghan?
Like I said, nothing was shocking.
Yeah.
What stood out to me and probably angered me was the fact that she actually asked for help. So the courage that it takes, first of all, to ask to have to ask someone else if you can receive help. Like emotional and mental help. And then be denied that.
Yes.
That, I'm not going to say it blew me. It pissed me off.
Yeah, it was upsetting.
It pissed me off.
At the least.
Yeah. And then I think also, which I guess we'll get into that a little bit later too, was Harry. And the Hendersons.
Oh, Harry.
Oh, boy. I guess I can understand where he was coming from to a certain extent, because I felt like as he was speaking, he has hopes of, mending the relationships. And that's hard, when you're talking about family, people that you grew up with.
Right.
So already having to cut ties and then, not wanting to really speak ill of them. But at this point, I'm just like,
the truth is
let
the
us
truth.
know. It's not
Tell
our
us what's up.
business, but at the same time, if we're in this interview, just say it.
Yeah. Okay. So my moments, or probably mine is not even deep. The most shocking thing to me was Tyler Perry's involvement and the fact that they were like, originally. So
I didn't hear that part.
Okay. So originally they moved to Canada, which is like a Commonwealth of Britain, which I don't even know. But they can like live there and still operate as royals, like part-time, or like, like the royals that we don't really hear about as much. Right. So she said that was their plan, but then all of that changed.
I didn't know that changed. I thought they were still in Canada.
No. So when they got to Canada early in the pandemic, or like right before the pandemic started, they were then told, hey, actually you guys aren't going to have security because your status is changing, and so you're going to lose your security detail and bye. Also, this is after the point at which the tabloids leaked their address in Canada. So, like, people know where they're at, and they have no security now, and they have a new baby. So then they were like, oh, we got to get the F up out of here. Like, because they were also worried about, like, things going on lockdown and, like, borders being closed, and they're not royal anymore.
They were being petty.
I
Real
think
petty,
so.
because
Tyler Perry came through, told him, go stay at the crib in Southern Cali. Okay. I'll send a security detail for you guys. Do what you need to do. Wow. Let me know when you're on your feet.
Wow.
For 3 months, they stayed in his house, and he gave them a security detail. And then they were able to, like, get their own place and all that stuff. Tyler Perry, a once homeless man.
Amazing.
And then
Black people be coming through.
Because one person I saw on Twitter, and I wish I would have remembered her name so I could say it, but she was like, all the rich white people Harry know, and Tyler Perry was the one.
Because what did he say? They're trapped.
Like,
somebody would have done something to them had they helped.
Not even like the royals, but anyone else. They know people. Black people
don't be caring. We also don't have, I believe to a certain extent, that there are people out there that say, hey, if you help them, we're going to do this to you. And so several people out there got some feet on their necks saying, if you do this, yeah.
But like I don't know, the first person that came to mind was Tom Cruise. I was just trying to think of like a famous white person. But
I don't know.
I was like, what?
That's true. Like somebody from America that's not from.
Yeah. Because they be rolling with the Richies.
Somebody could have.
Girl, that was wild.
Right.
That really blew me that Tyler Perry had a hand in any of this.
And they talked about it.
And they were like, oh yeah, Madea let us stay at her mansion.
Like you said, this one poor man that lived in his car comes through for royalty. Who's the real royalty here? Okay?
First of all, your girl could never. There's no way. I wouldn't even been able to wrap my mind around, oh, let me help Prince. I probably, you know what, I would have did it because of Meg. But like, to be in my brain, like, oh, Prince Harry needs a place to stay. Like, no. Well, whatever. Okay.
In your mind, you'd have been like, well, there's a lot of homeless people that need places.
Girl, in my mind, I would have been like, where his white friends at? Billa? Did CP even go to the wedding? I ain't seen no pictures of him at the wedding. Was he with Oprah? Oprah was there. Maybe he went with Oprah. You know that's his girl. I'm just saying. I ain't never seen Meghan trying to be cool with TP in public, and I just feel some type of way. Story. You right, but I just feel like he was used.
I feel you though.
Maybe I'm
But did she ask or did he offer?
I don't know. You right.
Maybe Oprah talked to somebody.
Maybe he got bread.
Maybe they got together.
Maybe the black riches have been talking behind the scenes the whole time, planning to save your girl.
Okay.
Because Oprah was like, when she hollered at her. Because Oprah said that she had hollered at her, like, I think before the wedding or like right after the wedding or something. And Meghan basically told her that somebody had pulled her to the side in the institution and was like, look, you need to be like 50% less. Whatever this is, we're going to need you to dial it back 50%.
So, yeah.
And Oprah was like, what?
Yeah, that was kind of triggering.
Yeah. So maybe Oprah and Tyler Perry had already talked 3 years ago, and they was like, look.
As if we as black women don't already do that enough.
Girl.
Because we feel that we have to be and look a certain way when we are in these different places, when we are wearing these different hats.
When it may not necessarily be anything that comes naturally to us.
Right.
And that, because I feel like a lot of times people assume that like extroverts have to like dial it back, right? Those of us who are loud or, you know, whatever, like we feel like we have to make ourselves small. But also black women in public spaces, in like workplaces, are not really given the opportunity to be introverted like that. Because people expect you to...
If you quiet.
Yeah, because, she got an attitude, or, why is she acting like that? Right.
I don't have any right now. I just want to sit. Sometimes I just want to sit and listen.
Right. One time, I told you my sister was working somewhere, and they was like, oh, well, you know, are you okay? Because I noticed that you're kind of quiet, and I thought maybe it's because there's not a lot of black people that work here.
They just came on out and said it.
Not because this is like my first day here. Like, I think she had been there a couple days at the point. But, like, I don't know nobody. I'm new.
For someone to automatically think, was this a person of color? Or
no, it was a white person.
For a white person to say that to a black person. Now.
On my second day?
What makes you...
I just feel like, well, honey.
You don't know me.
Yeah, and also, don't come at me with no dumb stuff.
But we're also in those spaces all the damn time.
And also, what was you going to do if I was like, yeah, I am uncomfortable? What was you going to do? Nothing. Just sit there and be white. Anyway. So, we've already discussed this slightly. But the racism of it all. I feel like Oprah kept trying to bring it back to the racism. She was like, so...
After she heard that comment about whoever was discussing what color the baby was shade, or if the baby was going to be too dark. We're going to get more into that, but yes.
Let's get into that now.
Well, I was going to say, because you were talking about racism, and so the comment when she was talking about how, I guess the tabloids did Kate, what do they call her, Wadey Katie, is completely different. That was rude. So rude is completely different from racism. And so that just goes back how whenever we address something as racism, and then someone has to counter it with, well, I experienced this.
Ooh, don't be that person.
It's not the same.
It's not the same, friend. It's not. We've all gone through it. That's what they kept on telling old boy. We've all gone through that. It's just hard. And then it's like, he was low-key hesitant to, like, say the word racist. I wanted him to say this. Also, let me tell y'all, I didn't watch it last night. And I woke up this morning, and people acted like, oh, Harry went in. From everything that I was reading, people acted like Harry went hard. Like, Meghan was trying to be poised and kind of hold back. But Harry came.
At one point, because I haven't even seen the whole, like, full interview. So I've watched all the bunch of different clips. I haven't watched the whole thing
cohesively.
But one thing that I did notice from what I did watch, at one point, she, like, nicely reached over and grabbed his hand so she could finish her statement. And that right there, I loved it. Because, hold on. Because that's me. Hold on a minute. Let me finish what I'm saying, because you're not going to tell it right. So.
I didn't feel like he went hard enough. I wanted him to go off. Like, I want him to
We wanted
to
see that raw emotion. Like, this is how it felt to watch my wife go through this. Mm-hmm. And depending on who these kids take after, I'm trying to think, have I seen the baby? Have they shown the baby?
They did. They showed, like, little clips. It was like a little
Was the baby
video
really
clip at some point.
Light?
Girl, that baby
white
is a passer for show. First of all.
That's what I'm going to say. The little girl could come out looking like her grandma on Meg's side. So, if that happens, what y'all going to do about that?
That's going to be the real tea. My thing was just like, yes. The way genetics work, it is possible that this baby could come out dark skinned. But also, not even that should be an issue, but I just be feeling like I didn't even really acknowledge Meg as black until everybody was like,
till we saw her mom.
We finna have a black princess. And I was like, oh, let me research. And I was like, who? This girl ain't black.
And then we saw her
beautiful
brown mom
stepping through with the locks.
Dreads.
I was like,
are they sister locks?
I don't know.
Locks, whatever. They're beautiful. She's beautiful.
Yeah, she is. She's bomb. But I just the concerns as far as, and then that was one thing that he said was that at a point he realized that it wasn't specifically about her. So, like, all the things that were coming from the tabloids and blah, 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 it wasn't specifically about her, but it was about what she represented as a black woman. Mm-hmm. Not to put her blackness in quotes. She's mixed. But as a black woman, what she represented to people. And that was why there was so much hate coming toward her and why people were treating her differently. And he said for him, that was when he was like, okay, we got to get the F up out of here.
So on the one hand, you have us, black people, like, praising it. And then you have the tabloids and the institution or whoever.
Right. But also, black people knew. We knew. I feel like we knew what was going to happen. We knew they was going to act funny towards that girl.
Oh.
We knew the tabloids was going to tear her up.
Definitely.
Maybe we didn't really understand, like, to the extent, like, how it was going to affect her mentally. Mm-hmm. But we knew. And even, like, as all these stories are coming, which a lot of us on this side of the pond weren't really following all the stories that were coming out about her.
Right.
My mama, though, was on YouTube watching everything, and she was like, oh, they said that Meg is this, and they said, and I was like, Mom, I know you don't believe them white people. That was literally my words to her, is I know you don't believe that, because they lying on that girl.
Oh, the part where they said that she made Kate cry, and she said it was the opposite.
And then she didn't even really want to get into exactly what happened, because I would say, well, Oprah, actually,
right,
let me tell you about your little princess Kate.
So, what is that in us? Black people, black women, I mean, black people, period, that feels the need to still protect. I will also say women, because I feel like that sometimes just happens with women. And so things will happen to us. We will be disrespected. Maybe even, like physically harmed,
protecting
even
your
assaulted.
abuser.
Yeah. We will make it lighter. We will minimize it.
That picture of Rihanna from a decade ago when Chris Brown beat her up, and then Meg, just things are flashing through my mind.
Right. And so, for whatever reason, she doesn't share, because I would love to hear what actually happened. Are you just not trying to... Is she at a point where she's not... I don't even need to clear all that up. I'm over it, and I don't want to talk about it, or...
I think with that specific instance, because she said something like, it happened, she apologized for it, and, we kind of got past that moment. And she was like, what did she say? Her exact words were something like, it would be a disservice to her to even hash up exactly what it was about, because we're past it now. So there's no need in me like talking about it, worry about it. But in general, I don't think that she's past all that stuff, because that was one thing that I kept thinking about too, because they talked about how she was so let's get into the mental health piece, right? They talked about how she was suicidal at one point, and I kept wondering, was she
suicidal, or was she having suicidal ideation?
She said she was having suicidal thoughts. So no, she hadn't attempted. But she said she was having suicidal thoughts.
Right. And she told Harry she didn't know if he should leave her there.
Yes, that one event that he was going to, because because she said that it was the day before that she told him about what was going on. And so in his mind, when they have this event, he's like, don't worry about it. I don't think you should go. And she's like, I can't stay here. But I was wondering, is she okay now? Like, one does not just wake up one day and not feel
like you're okay.
Yeah.
It's like it's a complete process. It's a journey.
Right. And I didn't at any point hear that she had... I mean, I assume that she went to therapy at some point.
If she did, she's probably still in therapy. I would hope so. But just like looking at her,
she looks better. But
from what I saw, looking at her, she still seemed very down.
She just seemed like a lot
burdened. And maybe it was the whole conversation of it. Like not having to have this conversation, but sitting down to have this conversation that the whole world
is going to know exactly what happened. And at times she was teary or whatever too when she was talking about
stuff. There was a weight there. There was. To me.
I wonder if she feels like...
Does she feel better now?
Having talked about it.
That she's gotten it out.
Or said her piece.
I really hope so. I really hope so.
I couldn't... So, to touch on what my friend talked about earlier, she basically was having suicidal thoughts. She went to someone in the institution, right? So they kept referring to there's the family, there's the royal family, and then there's the firm or the institution, which is runs the inner workings, right? And so they make sure that everybody looks the part.
The powers that be.
Yeah. And so she went to someone and basically said, I'm having these thoughts. And they were like, well, girl, no, we don't do that. We don't have those thoughts. We don't get help for that. You can't get a therapist. What's wrong with you?
I just felt like they didn't want anybody to know.
Yeah, that's definitely what it was. They definitely didn't want anybody to know. They didn't want anyone to get wind.
Talk about sweeping it under the rug.
All the way. Also, I kept thinking about her mom. And she pointed out in that little additional cut interview or whatever piece, when they interviewed Oprah on CBS this morning, and she was like, she talked about how her dad was working with tabloids, and then she was like, well, you know, my mama ain't saying that. Because Oprah was like, you know, did they go after anyone else? Were they trying to get anybody else? And she was like, yeah, they were. They were going after everybody. But you see, my mama ain't never saying nothing.
Right.
And I was like,
mama gonna hold it down.
Number one, she gonna hold it down. But also, I know that she was aware of how her child was feeling. And, like, trying to figure out how to support her.
Right.
Where she was. And not, like, out everything that was going on. These kids got the nerve to come up in here and turn this phone on. They must have me mistaken. Turn that off or down or something. All the way down. Mute it or get out. Yes. What?
My nose running.
I can't hear you. Talk!
You're on the video thing.
Yes. We're on the video thing. Anyway.
Hold
up. My friend.
My nose is running. It's stuffy on this side.
Okay.
26,
but yeah,
48.
Then her mama was definitely had her back.
That's a beautiful thing.
It was, but it also, I couldn't imagine having to, like, trying to figure out how to support my child in this mess.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
How many sleepless nights did her mom
Yes.
have? Oh my God.
Could you imagine? That would be insane. I would have been like, girl, just leave. Just come home.
I can hear my mama, look, interceding on my behalf. I mean, sis would never be asleep. She'd be laid out in the floor, praying. I'm going to tell you right now. All kinds of tongues, anointing oil. Yeah, she rebuked all them devils.
Yeah, that was just, I was like, dang, how did she get through that? That would have been hard.
Yeah.
That would have been a very hard part for me. But yeah, the mental health piece was, I mean, I'm not shocked that she felt that way.
Right.
But it's just, and I'm not even shocked that they told her that she couldn't get help because.
No, that's not a shocker. But the audacity.
Yeah, I think that's what
of
it
you
was.
to actually not get this woman some help. Whether you agree with it or not. Like,
exactly.
This is something that she asked for.
And they didn't care.
You denied her. That's health care. What? Mm-hmm. That is a basic human right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they don't have, like, special royal therapists. I'm sure they didn't have.
That's what I was thinking.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they didn't have some people to come around
I
and
don't want to talk to them,
take care of.
You're going to do what you need to do.
Yeah. Gosh. That. Yeah.
The audacity.
That was wild.
Yeah.
The other thing was privilege. That was something else that stood out to me personally. As I was listening to it, I was just like, they ain't been that broke. You know what I'm saying? They still, I mean, even like them having to stay at somebody's house for 3 months. First of all, they stayed at Tyler Perry's mansion. Second of all, it wasn't that they didn't have the money. They just needed to like get their affairs in order and like find a place to live that was suitable for them. And even now, like, you know, Meghan is like, oh, I'm so like excited to like live this simpler life. And yes, relatively, it is simpler. Mm-hmm. But by no means is it simple.
Simple, yeah.
It is not a simple life they are living.
Because both of them have money.
They have money. I mean,
Harry still has old money. He just has lost his title and whatever else, I guess, that comes along with it, like yearly or however they do things. But he has his mom's.
Yeah. So he
money.
said the money that he has now is what was left to him by his mother. But that wasn't like.
He still got that rich,
You know what I'm saying? It won't no stimmy. It won't $1,600.
He minimized that when he said, "I still have."
And because I say this often, not to take away from anyone's struggle because you struggled harder, but it's just very difficult for me in many cases to like
empathize on
to
level.
fully empathize with people that are so much richer than me.
I mean, so much more privileged.
Yes. And it was just like, okay, bruh. Like, y'all wasn't eating peanut butter jellies or nothing. You feel me? Like, I understand that it's different.
It was hard, and it probably was like...
It was weird.
You know, like when you jump in the pool and it's ice cold water. That's probably what it was like when they got to Canada. Like, oh,
Facts.
You don't have a house, and you don't have security.
Facts.
So with this newborn baby, what we finna do?
And that's the thing. Oh, I need to circle back around. But that's the thing. Like, the security piece was important for them because people know who they are.
Yeah, they need security.
Yeah.
Because I always personally said, like, I don't want to be famous in that aspect because I like my privacy. Like, who in the world wants to, like, put on a disguise or, like, you know, like, cover up yourself, trying to hide from people because they want to be all in your business.
Right. I want to be, like, good enough to where I got bread, but I also still want to be able to, like, go to Target and get bread.
Right. Like, I don't want anybody hiding in the bushes trying to get pictures.
Yeah, we don't have time for those types of shenanigans. No one wants to do that.
I don't.
Yeah, that's too much.
Because don't be jumping out the bushes on anybody.
Get stabbed up. Out here. Yeah, no, that's too much. But the thing I wanted to circle back around to was they had already told her that the baby wasn't going to have no security when she was pregnant. At the same time that they was discussing how dark he was going to be, they also was like, oh, and by the way, we're not going to give this little darky any security or title. Right.
Don't them other kids got a title?
Yeah. And also, I think, so she was like that some convention.
What comes after the Duchess and the Duke?
So,
what's under that? What would the son be?
Prince. The baby would be a prince. But it's like some convention they decided that any grandchild is a prince or princess. So I think because Harry is not the firstborn.
Right.
His kids aren't automatically prince and princess. Mm-hmm. But when they become grandchildren, so not great-grands, because right now they would be great-grands. But when she dies and, what's the man?
They move up the ladder, basically.
Yeah. Everything moves up, and then they become prince.
When her and Charles. It's Charles, right? Because he's the one that just had...
Not the brother. The dad. Harry's dad.
What is his name?
Philip?
Is it? Oh, I thought you was talking about the Queen's husband.
Oh, no, he did.
Is he?
Well, yeah, girl.
Who was 99 years old and was just in the hospital? So, I would...
Is the Queen?
No, it's the man.
I thought he was dead.
It was Charles. So, they said that basically... the royals...
I shouldn't know this, right?
They said that it was... The whole interview was basically... inconsiderate because he's in the hospital, he's 99 years old, and he just had some type of procedure or surgery done on his heart. So it has come at such an inconvenient time.
The Duke of Edinburgh. Oh yeah, it is this man, Philip. Okay, so that's not the... You're right. He's our man.
Okay, this is Philip. That
He
has
is
just
Philip.
had the heart surgery. Charles is the dad.
Charles is the okay.
Harry's dad.
Yes,
Okay.
Charles is Harry's dad. Philip is the guy that is married to the queen, but he ain't nobody for real because he's not royal blood.
He's just married to the queen.
Yeah. So he's a duke.
It must be great and awful at the same time.
He oldest.
He's
Methuselah.
99.
Ain't nobody ever seen him. He looks older than that.
My friend is all off task.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Okay. Anyway.
So they said that it was.
So they was like, all right. So she was like, basically, there was this convention that's like that established that that's the rule when the kids move into grandchildren role. So when Charles becomes king,
okay.
When Philip and the queen when the queen is dead, Charles takes over. Mm-hmm. So when Charles becomes king, then the kids become prince and princesses. But they was like, actually, we're gonna just change those rules, and your kids know better, okay? And she was like, this is all happening at the same time that they're having this conversation about what this little brown baby is going to potentially look like.
Brown baby that's probably not even going to be brown. Got this 25%. This 1/4.
Yeah.
Black.
Like, this other thing I saw said, that was the quote that I told you I was going to tell you. It said, this whole thing is about colorism and racism. Mm-hmm. Colorism is the reason that she was allowed to get in the door, mm-hmm. but racism is the reason that she had to leave. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow. Yeah, that really blew my mind because her being that fair mm-hmm. is the only reason.
And I was going to say this earlier when we were talking about, this, you said this black woman. Well, if she hadn't been my color,
he would have never married that woman.
He couldn't have.
No, nobody would have allowed that to happen.
I bet you he probably...
It would never have gone that far.
No.
I'm sure
he
didn't slept with many a scary spice. But
maybe some Rihanna's, cause what? Maybe even a Tika. Okay.
But guess what? He ain't never bring none of them to meet the queen.
No.
And that too was like, because Oprah at one point was like, did you ever think about the fact that she was multiracial like before when y'all were like dating early on? And he was like, no. Because
she wasn't.
Yeah, I just feel like she didn't present. Now, if she would have been obviously black, which, not to take away from her blackness. I don't never want to take that away from nobody because it's a beautiful thing. But this girl is not black presenting immediately. Mm-hmm. Now, after, you done laid eyes on her for a few minutes, you might be like, what's going on up in there?
What are you?
Right. What are those stupid people? But initially, I wouldn't be like, oh, yeah, she's black. No. But if she would have been clearly black presenting from the jump, he would have had to think about that. He probably would have thought about it when he first seen her because she fulfilled some sort of weird fantasy he has. But anyway, let's not even go there.
She wouldn't have made it anywhere.
She wouldn't have made it nowhere. Nowhere. Let him have been try to... Oh, that girl way too young for him. What's the Obama daughters? No. Never would have happened in a zillion years.
Let him have brought Rihanna up in there.
Never would have happened.
Okay.
They wouldn't have let her pass the gates.
Prince.
Wouldn't have let her pass the gates. But, yeah, so that's how she got in, was colorism, mm-hmm. right? She's close enough to whiteness.
I feel like most black people know that. When we saw it, we was like, oh.
But we was like, we're going to claim her, though.
Absolutely.
We getting us a little Tiana.
Okay.
Let's get it. in real life.
But you know what? One of my big takeaways from, where they are now is, how people applaud and praise the strength of someone to stick around and do this, put up a good fight. Can we just take a moment to praise and acknowledge someone to say, this no longer serves me. This is not going to work for me, and it's detrimental to my mental health. I'm out.
What SpongeBob say?
And
well,
I'm ahead on that. But there is a level of respect that I have for Harry because he was like, oh, I'm out too.
Fact.
So the unity and the level of support that
as
is there.
Husband and wife, yeah. That's important.
I do appreciate and respect that. So go Meg.
I have a but.
I said go Meg.
I feel like Harry is a part of the problem. So a couple things about why I feel that Harry is a part of the problem. One, he admitted that if not for the experience that he had with his wife, he never would have left the royal family. And he said he, never thought about the fact that she was multiracial. He never thought about the implicit bias that existed because he never seen it. So as far as he knew, this little piece of hair, as far as he knew, nobody was racist, right? He never saw any overt racism.
Yeah, when he was saying like, oh, the people in the UK are not racist. It's the media.
The tabloids are racist.
But also as you point that out, his loyalty is strictly to his wife and that 1/4 black baby.
Period.
It's not that, like he's going to get out here and be all Black Lives Matter and, advocating for us.
Right.
I'm not saying that he won't. But at this point, from what I see, on the outside looking in, he's in support of his wife and his child. Which could potentially go further for him to be an advocate. But, this is where my loyalty lies.
Right. And I feel that is a necessary distinction because for me, it is like when people say, I'm not racist, my husband is black. And I'm like, well, girl, guess what? You can also be racist. And your husband can be black. Two things can be true at the same time. So, and I don't know that this man is racist. I don't know. Even though one of my friends is dead set on the fact that he's racist. I don't really know why. But
probably because, I
think he felt he was racist prior to this, but
look who he is.
That's true.
Where he comes from.
That's true.
How can you not? Because
right.
At no time before this, really, that we know of, did he kick against the prick.
Right, and that's the thing is that white people, it took him experiencing this, basically being in her shoes, to be like, this isn't right.
Right.
The way that black people are treated isn't right. And he hasn't necessarily stepped up and said that. He said the way that my wife has been treated is not right. And so that is where my concern lies, is that we have to be more forthcoming with things than to wait until we personally experience it or someone that we love personally experiences it to try to learn about it, or you know what I'm saying? Because it's not like that's a totally abstract thing. Racism is...
it exists.
Yeah, so...
we all see color. It's there.
For the shock for him to be there the way that it was, I guess, for it to have rocked his world in this manner, it was like he didn't see any of it coming. And that is the naive part for me.
That's like the privilege.
Yes.
That is the privilege.
Yes, it is. That is white privilege. Right there. To think that, I'm going to just marry her and we're just going to be cool and everything going to be cool and it's going to be good. We're going to have kids and life's going to be great. Now you see what it's like. And then the other thing, I feel like he kept saying like, oh, we're trapped and my brother's trapped and everyone's trapped and trapped. You are only trapped because you want to maintain the lifestyle that you are used to living, right? That was the thing that trapped him.
The money.
Once he was like, okay, I'll go live in Canada or stay in Tyler Perry's crib for 3 months.
What if she did not already have her own money? So he would have been leaving that palace with nothing. Would it have gone the same way? I wonder.
That's a great question.
If
she would have just been a
regular
degular girl
money,
off the street.
Yeah, if she had been me. Well, I ain't light enough, first of all, but if she had not been famous with these other connections and have done well for herself already.
Mm-hmm. Well, he claimed they're living off Di's money.
Okay.
But what if they didn't have that neither?
Right. Mm-hmm. He'd have still been there.
Would he have left?
Nah, he'd have left her.
Period.
And I'm not going to say that I blame him.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, let's be real. Okay? Because how much of an effect do all of those things play on who we are as individuals, who we are in our relationships, who we are as parents? That's why I said this man, he was naive.
He was.
You came from a line of white people that are in power.
And ain't never seen another black dot ever.
They didn't enslave them. They want to keep everybody slave.
And you thought you was just going to waltz this little girl up in here and everything was going to go smooth? Like, their biggest concern was just her adjusting to royal life. Is she not even well? What was her mama thinking? I know her mama knew. Because she claimed, she felt like she wasn't really prepared for all that need. But I bet her mama knew.
Oh, definitely. But, our moms get to that point in life where they're like, I have to allow my child to make this decision for themselves.
Of course.
They have to learn. They have to go on their own path. But I lost my train of thought. What were you saying before that?
He was born.
Oh, she wasn't prepared.
She was not prepared.
And so, in one part of it, I don't know if this was in the actual interview or if this was like in one of the clips. Yeah, this was cut outtakes. And so she said that, she needed to learn like all these 30 hymns for church.
Yes.
And she needed to learn like the anthem or whatever. And, like all of the things. And there was no one there teaching her. And so it's not like when we watched The Princess Diaries.
Also, she said, and that's not the case. And she said, well, maybe for other people, but that was not the case for me.
Right.
And my first thought was,
Kate had some people teaching her. That was my thought.
That was my thought as well.
Look, I don't need to be there or to have been there to know. They set this white girl up for success.
Surely did.
And your girl left her out hung up to dry.
In the cold.
It's a thing. This happens. This is life.
But it seems to me that in an effort to continue to be comfortable, despite how good he believes his family to be, they are willing to continue to perpetrate whatever is going on and participate in the status quo, in the system as it exists, in order to maintain their wealth. And that was the thing too, when he said that, they're scared of the tabloids, they're scared of the British press. First, Oprah was just like, why? Like, they're the royal family, they can do whatever they want. But my thought was, really, the royal family means nothing at this point in time. They're just figureheads. So if the tabloids turn against them enough, can they turn the public against them enough to demand that these people shouldn't get paid for having babies?
And so one of the clips that I watched, that is what they discussed. Like, the royals need to play nicely.
Yeah.
They need to play nicely with the media, because if they turn the people against them, and if there's an uproar,
right?
We already see what the United States did. Now, what if that happens?
And also, y'all people are not. Y'all ain't really doing nothing. Y'all are just a symbol at this point. Like, you ain't really got no job. Grandma putt-putting around on her last leg. You see her husband look like the crypt keeper. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, they breaking in this tax money, taking tours around the world, just because they're having babies. Like, they're literally just, they just have a bloodline.
It's their system.
Yeah. And they're like, so that's what they're scared of. The people being like, okay, after this, we're not paying for this
like
anymore.
They have done in so many other places. Like,
yeah, but somehow
we
they
don't
maintain
need
that
kings
monarchy.
and queens anymore.
Especially if they're not doing anything.
We're going to turn this into a democracy.
Yeah, they
That's
have parliament. Literally, the queen does nothing. She doesn't have a job. I mean, what does she even do? Somebody tell me.
Backlash for this, sis.
Who? Whatever. Somebody tell me what the queen do to deserve all this tax money and deserve to live lavish like they do. All that money they spend on their wedding and stuff. Think about that. And then people don't do a thing. That's why they scared. That's why they willing to do whatever them tabloids say and run a little black girl off, because they trying to keep raking in them taxes and keep their little titles and keep their little security. How much is security alone for all them people?
I don't know, sis.
Girl, that's why they scared. And they was like, well, if you can do without it, you go ahead, bye. See ya.
Okay.
We need this bread.
I'm out. But like, I feel like that's the way it is. Not that that's the way that it has to continue to be, but like, even when you like watch the different movies and stuff, I know movies aren't always real or based on true stories, but in my mind, if somebody thought about it and made a movie about it, it has happened somewhere. Or it's in the process or something. And that's just how I feel about it. But yeah, like, even when you watch things like that in the movie, like, there are always people that are never going to leave.
Them people.
So with him leaving, what does this mean for other people? Like, those that come after. Because how many people, I wonder how many, I've never researched it, but like, how many people have actually like said to hell with it?
But see, they did not say to hell with it. That was the thing. They were like, we're just going to, step back a little. Like, there's...
Right, true.
And that's what she said too. It's not like they were reinventing the wheel. Mm-hmm. There are already these delineations for, like, you can be a senior royal, or you can be like, I don't know if it's a junior or whatever, but there's levels to this. And they were like, well, we just want to step down a level. And then shit hit the fan.
And they was like, you want to step down?
Yeah.
We gonna knock you all the way down.
Yeah, and then so...
Y'all ain't getting... I feel like that's a pride ego thing from somebody.
It's
somewhere in the institution.
Yeah, it's a hater. I don't think it was the family. I think it was a hater.
You think he gonna step down?
Yeah. We painted this picture, and he's gonna be a part of it. And if he don't want to, yeah. I think
they probably thought he was gonna leave that little black girl.
You thought? But they was like that they hadn't been officially like stripped of their titles, but Oprah said after. So, I don't know when they recorded it versus when it aired. Right. But in the interview, she said after they recorded it, they made the announcement that their titles were officially kaput. And
after they recorded it?
Yeah. Because toward the end, she was like, so later this month, they're supposed to be announcing.
She said they had already done it.
Did she?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know. I'm tripping.
Yeah, she said they had already done it.
Okay. Well, yeah. So.
And maybe they just hadn't made the announcement. So it had actually already been done.
The
announcement
was going to be made later.
Had not been made yet.
Yeah. So they're just regular folks now.
But not really. They are.
Yeah.
They,
but they still
are
got
to
money.
the UK, kind of.
Yeah, their names still ring bells. And they got money. They have a production company. They have deals with Netflix and SoundCloud and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure that's not the end of it. They probably going to work with Tyler Perry.
Shoot, if Kanye West and Kim K hadn't broke up, they'd probably be working with them some kind of way.
I hate you.
It makes sense.
But yes.
That makes...
What's going on with that development?
We ain't talking about that.
Somebody check on Kanye.
He alright.
Okay.
He probably gonna be better. Maybe.
You know they say he was in a sunken place, but he been going through ever since his mama.
I feel like he was coming out a little bit.
Was he?
He not?
I don't know. I haven't seen him.
I haven't checked in
since his last Twitter rant.
Who is he now? Is he still Yeezus?
Who knows?
Yeezy?
Girl,
is he?
Who knows?
Kanye. I'm gonna call him Kanye.
His mama named him Kanye.
I'm gonna say that's what his mama named him. And you know, black folks, I'm gonna call you what your mama named you.
So the final thoughts on this whole situation. Because I was gonna go into some other stuff, but it's late. We ain't got time for that. We'll say that. But final thoughts.
Yes.
He said the reason they left was lack of support and his concerns that, you know, this was a race thing. Once he realized that it was really a race thing and not a personal vendetta against her as a person, but what she represented. And then Oprah asked, you know, do you guys feel like and as far as the support, like definitely the mental health piece, but also that all these articles, all these things are coming out in the tabloids and nobody was speaking against it. And so at one point she was like, okay, we have a whole team that will go out and lie for people, but nobody would come out and tell the truth for me and my husband.
For her.
Right.
Period.
When they were printing lies about her, no one clarified, no one said, no, actually, this is what happened. Nobody cared to do that. And so, but Oprah was like, if you felt like you had been supported, do you think you would have left? And they was like, no, we would still be there.
Right. Because, I mean, if there was no, you know, like ill spoken about certain family members, then it was a family environment.
Right.
And you can definitely see like how important Harry's family is to him. Like he's still wanting to reconcile at some point. So, yeah.
Them people.
Why y'all not standing up for me? Because I don't appreciate that.
That's the thing. First things first, don't nobody worry about the royal family because they're going to get their come up.
Look, y'all not standing up for the black girl might be your downfall. This may be the beginning of the end.
That's what people were saying, but I don't think so.
Sis.
I just feel like we all knew them people was racist. Won't nobody surprised about nothing that happened up in there.
It could be another 100 years from now, though, is what I'm saying.
100,000.
But this is like the start. I feel like. Because
so the little boy.
I don't remember anything like this happening before. I'm not a history major also, like going all the way back.
Right. Right. I don't
but
see
also,
it.
We living in some different times here.
Are they different? They don't be different enough for me. I be wanting the revolution to really go up.
Different in the
See
aspect.
stuff on fire.
Not in that way, but different in the fact that one, he did actually marry this fair-skinned woman.
This fair-skinned black woman.
This fair-skinned black woman.
And he did leave.
And he did leave.
You're right. So.
This interview has come out. So they have spoken out. Kind of.
What I really want to see is in 20 years, how does these kids fit in?
I really want to see how the kids do. And if they are going to... Is grandma going to sneak over there to meet them babies?
Now, they said that they've talked to her a lot. He said he talked to his grandma more in the last year than he did when he was in the palace.
And you know how, like, when someone becomes a grandparent. So he is the grandchild to the queen, right?
Yes. And I know grandma love her youngest baby.
Listen. When the parents become grandparents, everything off the table. No holds barred. Like, this whatever for them grandbabies. Now, just think about these great grandbabies.
Yeah.
And their actual babies.
Yeah, you're right. And that was, they never said anything negative about Liz.
Somebody finna sneak the queen over here.
I bet it's that damn, what's his name? Charles.
The daddy.
Philip probably the one that asked how dark that baby was gonna be.
He probably seen that.
He dark his damn self. Looking bluish gray.
What is that? Them liver spots.
It's more than liver spots. No ageism. No shade. But that man, he looked like any day now.
Oh,
and he in the hospital. Let me stop. I'm sorry.
He just had a procedure done on his heart, Lord.
Look, I can't make nobody die. That's in God's hands. You feel me?
That ain't on me.
That don't got nothing to do with your girl. You feel me? I can't do that.
God.
I ain't got that much power. You feel me? But the man looks bad, and I ain't gonna. Even if he was dead, I wouldn't lie about that one. So,
cut it.
got the nerve to ask about how dark that baby gonna be.
I wonder who was it.
It was him.
It was the brother.
You think so? His
They all
hit it
probably
in.
said it.
I don't think it was all of them. He said
Something's
he
going on
continues.
with the brother though.
He continues to feel a way about his daddy.
And the brother.
He still kind of spoke positively about the brother. He was like, there's distance between us, but
The
he's my
distance
brother.
probably came when the black girl came up in there, and now y'all want to have babies.
And probably after that girl made his wife cry.
The black woman and me, let that baby be dark. That's how we be.
Girl, if that baby would have been any darker, they would have ran her ass
When you
up
got
out of
racist
there.
parents and grandparents, you be like, yes, let that baby be dark.
They would have ran her up out of there.
Dog.
They would have accused her of cheating with this black man down the road.
No.
You know they would have
She
accused
take
her.
after her grandma.
They would have accused that girl. They would have called for a DNA test and everything.
And
Harry wouldn't have got it done. And then they would have further speculated. They would have tampered with the evidence and everything. Girl. They would have. They would have accused that girl of all kind of stuff. Had that baby.
Beheaded her. They'd have went back in the day, started beheading people again. See? Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd have got her some kind of way.
They did that girl wrong. At the end of the day, that woman, I'm sorry, let me not. They did her wrong. Oh, child, call it.
I wish sis the best.
I do. I hope she's healthy. I hope she's seeing a therapist. I hope he's seeing a therapist. They out here saving chickens. They had like some rescue chickens. They living their dreams. That's the rescue work is what they want to do.
I'm with it.
Yeah, so, it seems they have a little bit more freedom. That's
cool.
Relatively less financial stability, even though they're pretty stable.
But at this point, and here's something I wanted to point out too. She does not have to be 50% of herself. So imagine having less money. No, I'm going to say less status because they still have status. A certain type.
Yeah.
But being...
A zillion people just watched that interview.
But being happy and whole. As a whole mom. As a whole woman.
Come on, friend. Wrap it up.
She's also a whole wife.
Wrap it up.
She don't need all of that.
She didn't need all of that.
Obviously, it wasn't helping her be and feel whole. It was tearing her apart.
It was. And it was tearing her marriage apart. It was just...
So at this point, maybe they both can be them whole selves. Because I also feel like as a royal, somebody somewhere all the time is telling you who to be, what to do, what to eat, all of those things.
He probably don't even know who he is.
He does not know who he is.
I hope he has a therapist. I hope he's working through this with a therapist. And I hope he don't come to resent her.
Oh. Or them kids. Dum. Yeah. He needs to go to therapy.
Yeah, he needs to.
Because this could go several different ways.
And it's going to take so long.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens next Christmas.
But I mean,
if they go
we're going to let y'all go in a minute. But I mean, like, just think about...
We're going to let y'all go in
Think about how long it took for us to come into our own and to denounce all of those childhood... Things. All of the things.
Yeah. Because even as regular people, like we're inundated with regular people.
All of the habits.
Yeah. And we're inundated with the things that our family places on us. So to be in that family and to lose your mama in that type of tragedy is a lot. And if they won't try to let her get therapy, they probably ain't never let him get therapy.
I kept saying like the whole time, I was like, they need their mom. That was such a tragedy. And it makes you wonder how things would be different if she had not died.
And I remember the rumors was that, somebody did that to her. So
see what I'm saying? They would have beheaded Meg.
Girl, they would have. Whoo, child. If that baby would have came out anything darker than a paper bag, it would have been a wrap.
The color of a paper bag. That's too dark.
Honey, you vanilla wafers. No, what's the...
Look, that's the paper bag. That's too dark.
You right there.
Shoot.
Oh, Lord. Okay. All right, friends.
So, yeah. As we're in the month of co-parenting.
Just
think about we're going to wrap it up. But if you guys want to leave us some comments, give us some feedback. How do you think that they're going to do with this whole co-parenting thing?
Out here in the world on their own. How is he going to do? Because what
if
has
that
he
little
seen?
girl come out with kinky hair?
Girl. That's going to be bananas.
It's bananas.
What if she a little ginger? That'd be crazy.
A ginger, a curly hair. Oh. She's going to be a little strawberry shortcake.
I hate you. Yeah, that's going to be wild. A little kinky headed ginger baby.
We're going to be waiting. Day 3, we coming up to the hospital. I see that, babe.
Meg's room.
I'm
from Tyler Gray Studios.
We here to see the Royals.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Third cousin removed.
Oh, her sister. Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Her sister probably she on the dad side.
Oh, she is.
Ain't the sister older too? She said something.
She's like 50 something. It had the nerve to change her name back to Markle when it came out that she was dating the prince.
She probably a Karen.
She a cloud chasing Karen. Oh, cloud chasing Karen.
All right,
spell chasing with a K.
You can't.
Okay.
All right, y'all.
We're done.
We love y'all. We will see you next week. Back to co-parenting.
Yeah, we'll really be back on the co-parenting stuff, but we couldn't let this Meg and everything slide.
Also, again, happy International Women's Day.
And continue So shake that thing.
Let's be great
for Women's History Month.